That's why today, with the exception of Greater Shepparton, we can announce that from 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, Thursday night, the lockdown will end in regional Victoria, with the exception of Greater Shepparton. Those 5 reasons to leave your home will no longer apply. Schools will reopen for Prep Grade 1, Grade 2, Year 11 studying Year 12 subjects for those subjects, and of course our Year 12s. The rationale behind all of these decisions and what's safe and why these decisions and not others, the Chief Health Officer can go to that in a moment. But businesses will be able to reopen. There will be limits though, as I said, and I've said a number of times now, it's not a snapback, it's not Freedom Day, it's not 100% of capacity down at the pub. It can't be. If it is, then we will simply see numbers spread, and then we'll have to close large parts of regional Victoria down again, and perhaps even all of regional Victoria. We don't want that. We want to do this in a cautious way, but in a positive way, in as optimistic a way as possible. Regional Victorians have done an amazing job. That's why these steps are possible, whether it be in schools for our smallest students and our most senior students, in business, up to 25%, going back into workplaces. If you can work from home, then we ask that you do, but we'll see hospo reopening, all of those things which are critically important. Childcare going back to normal, no more distance limits, no more time limits. There'll be a degree of freedom in regional Victoria that has been hard won. Regional Victorians have done a fantastic job. On Shepparton, we would hope to have Shepparton catch up to the rest of regional Victoria sometime next week, and we'll make those announcements as soon as we have just tidied up the last bits of the outbreak there. The Golden Valley community's done an amazing job. I thank everybody who's volunteered, everybody who's isolated at home, everybody who's been through that 14-day journey, and of course to all of our staff under the command of Deb Abbott out of EMV and so many others. They've done a fantastic job. Hopefully we can have Greater Shepparton on the same footing as the rest of regional Victoria next week, and the sooner we can do that, the better, and we'll make announcements as soon as we're in a position to make those changes. The other point to make though is if we do finish up with cases bobbing up in regional Victoria in coming weeks, I just want to indicate to everybody across regional Victoria that not only is it our preference, but it will be our practice to have a focused and targeted series of measures. As you can see, Shepparton is being treated differently because there are case numbers there. If there were an outbreak in another part of regional Victoria, then we would look to try and target and localise our public health measures as much as we could. That's why, in order to keep a handle on what's going on in regional Victoria, people need to get tested as soon as they feel sick. People need to get vaccinated as fast as they can, and there are many appointments across all the different platforms available in regional Victoria. People in regional Victoria need to follow the rules still. They're different rules, they're better rules if you like, but they're still there and they have to be followed. COVID safety arguably is even more important once you start to open up, because if the virus gets away from you, there's a lot more movement and we would see the virus spread quickly, indeed much more quickly than when we're locked down. But that's not our aim. Our aim is to be open, and these are really important steps to take. I fully concede it's not everything that everybody would want, but it is what's safe and it is what we believe can be made sustainable. It's not essentially an invitation for cases to get out of control and then us having to take steps backwards. We don't want to do that. We want to try and avoid that. Brett can speak to that in just a moment. I would also indicate, and Victoria Police Command will be out to speak to you about this later on today, there will be a very significant boost to enforcement of the regional metropolitan border. You can expect, if you are travelling into regional Victoria, you can expect to be pulled over. It won't necessarily be every single car, but there'll be number plate recognition technology used. There will be static presence of Victoria Police at different parts on major roads. So it won't be, as I suppose, predictable as a completely static checkpoint. But why would you take that risk? If you don't have good reason, lawful reason to go to regional Victoria, then please do not go to regional Victoria. You'll simply take the virus with you. And we've seen that. That's not a theoretical thing. We have actually seen people doing the wrong thing and taking the virus to regional Victoria. We don't want that. Regional Victorians have given a lot. They've achieved a lot too. Let's safeguard that, and that's why Victoria Police will be able to speak to a significant enforcement operation which will protect regional Victoria from incursions and the virus travelling from Metro Melbourne into regional Victoria. That task is not easy. We will seek some ADF support around those issues. We know that we've got a New South Wales-Victoria border to defend as well, if you like, from incursions from Sydney. But metropolitan Melbourne and the community transmission we're seeing here in Melbourne is also a risk to regional Victoria as well. So this is not everything that everyone would want right now, but this is what is sustainable, this is what's safe, this is what the Chief Health Officer has recommended to us, and it's the decisions that we have made. These arrangements will be in place until the end of September, and of course it's within the power of every Victorian, and certainly those in regional Victoria under these rules, go and get vaccinated, because things like vaccination numbers and of course case numbers and the story that sits behind those cases, they'll be the relevant considerations as we get to the end of September and we make judgments about what October and November looks like in regional Victoria. Of course, we've already laid down a process around what the weeks and months ahead look like